Welcome back to the deep dive. Today we're picking up our exploration of leadership, but through a really different lens.
Yeah, moving beyond the usual strategies and, power dynamics.
Exactly. Have you ever been somewhere, maybe a meeting, where one person, just through their quietness, their attentiveness, kind of shifts the whole room?
Definitely. Without giving orders, just by being there.
Right. It's like this subtle influence feels less like control, more like, well, presence.
Like kind of deep-rooted presence. It feels old
Mhm.
somehow, but also really relevant now.
It does. Ancient wisdom for the modern world, you could say. And I think it connects with something fundamental in all of us.
I agree.
So, our mission today is to really dig into this. We're using the introduction to Leadership from the Breath by Lóng Tíng as our guide.
And this isn't just about summarizing a book, is it?
No, not at all. It's more like stepping into a philosophy, one that really challenges how we normally think about leadership. We want to unpack his core ideas, understand where he's coming from.
And explore why this approach is so relevant for you listening right now.
Yeah, whether you're leading a team, a project, or even just navigating your own life in this, well, complex world.
It feels like a starting point, doesn't it, for a much bigger conversation?
Absolutely. A foundation for an ongoing exploration of these really insightful ideas.
So, Lóng Tíng himself. Who is this person guiding us?
Well, he's introduced as the founder and CEO of Lóng Tíng Enterprises, an author, mentor, cultural ambassador.
Okay.
But what really stands out, what makes his view so interesting, is how he's positioned. His life's work is described as moving between Europe and Asia, between cultures, between languages, between worlds.
It's quite a description. A bridge builder.
Exactly. He explicitly says his mission has always been about bridges, specifically connecting East and West, tradition and innovation, identity and belonging.
It paints a picture, doesn't it?
Yeah.
Someone not just seeing divides, but actively connecting them. Like that image you mentioned, a bamboo path towards a temple.
Yes, inviting others along.
And what strikes me, thinking about this bridge building idea, is his own background. It seems to reflect that directly.
How so?
He mentions working in both system engineering and the arts. Now, those seem, well, worlds apart, don't they?
They really do. Engineering logic, structure, precision, arts, intuition, expression, ambiguity.
Right. So the question becomes, what kind of perspective emerges from combining those? How does that unusual blend inform his ideas about leadership?
It suggests something really holistic, doesn't it?
It does. Combining that analytical rigor with maybe an intuitive feel for the human side of things, it's a fascinating mix.
And that blend, I think, leads us right to the heart of his message, this central idea that frames everything.
Which is,
Leadership is not about control. It is about presence. Simple words, but wow, they carry a lot of weight.
deceptively simple. It really forces you to stop and think.
It does, and that's the thread we're going to follow today. How transformative is that shift, especially when, let's be honest, so much leadership training still focuses on control?
Right. So what does it even mean for leadership to be rooted in something like presence? How does that actually work? Let's get into it. Okay, so to really grasp that shift from control to presence, we probably need to understand Lóng Tíng himself better, this idea of the intercultural weaver.
Yeah, you called him that earlier. It fits.
His work is building bridges, not just as a metaphor, but practically. East and West, tradition, innovation, identity.
He lives it, essentially, rooted in East Asian thought, but very much present in the global now, as he puts it.
And thinking bigger picture, this role of a bridge builder,
Yeah.
it's not just nice to have now, it feels absolutely crucial.
Essential, I'd say.
Yeah.
Absolutely. We're so interconnected, sometimes overwhelmingly so.
Think about global teams, different cultures, time zones.
Exactly. Managing global supply chains, navigating politics, even just getting a remote team on the same page. A rigid, control-based approach just breaks down.
It doesn't scale.
Okay.
And it certainly doesn't inspire loyalty or creativity.
No. You need leaders who can genuinely understand different perspectives, connect them, find that common ground without just papering over the differences.
It requires a kind of mental flexibility, doesn't it? Moving between different ways of seeing.
Yeah, like code-switching worldviews almost. How many problems come from simple misunderstandings of cultural context or values?
Countless. So his ability to move between these worlds isn't just a skill. It's a model for adaptability, for empathy.
Yeah.
It suggests a deep capacity for perspective taking.
Which is so vital for any kind of global leadership today.
It's more than just knowing things, isn't it? It's about that ingrained flexibility, being okay with ambiguity, holding multiple truths at once.
Like seeing the value in ancient wisdom and modern science, maybe? Not seeing them as opposites?
Precisely. Not being locked into one cultural operating system.
So for you listening, think about your own world. Where do you need to bridge gaps? Maybe between departments or generations on your team.
Or even just different personal beliefs among colleagues. It could be understanding why one group prioritizes consensus while another values quick decisions.
These situations pop up all the time. Lóng Tíng's example shows this isn't just a skill, it's a way of being, a practice.
A continuous practice of opening up and connecting.
Which brings us back to his own background, that mix of system engineering and the arts.
Right. That's synthesis.
It's quite something. System engineering, you think. Logic, structure, predictability, efficiency, designing processes, optimizing things.
Building the machine, making sure it works as expected.
Yeah. And then the arts, intuition, creativity, ambiguity, the human experience, the unpredictable beauty of it all.
They seem like total opposites. Control versus flow.
But the combination, that's where the magic happens for leadership today, perhaps.
I think so. Imagine a leader facing a complex problem, like a major restructuring. They can use that engineering mindset to analyze, structure, plan.
Get the blueprint right.
Exactly. But then they can also tap into that artistic sensibility to understand the human side, the emotions during change, the unspoken needs, the creative ideas waiting.
Even how the solution feels to people.
Right. It's that balance between structure and fluidity, logic and intuition, data and human experience. You need both the blueprint and the artistic vision for the building.
I like that. You need both for it to be strong and inspiring. You need the hard beta and the soft skills.
The strategy and the spark.
A leader today is more like an orchestrator, right? Orchestrating human potential. You need the engineering mind for the course, the resources, the risks.
But you absolutely need that artistic side too, for innovation, for navigating the unexpected, for connecting with people deeply.
It leads to a more holistic, adaptable leadership.
Right.
One that can handle ambiguity because it understands the human element.
Building a solid bridge, but making sure it's also inviting.
Okay, so this leads us right back to that core idea from Lóng Tíng. Leadership is not about control, it is about presence.
A powerful statement.
It really is. And for many of us, especially if you've come up through traditional structures, control is almost baked into the definition of leadership.
It's synonymous, often. What comes to mind when you think control-centric leader?
Well, hierarchy, right. Directives flowing down, micromanagement, maybe. Focusing purely on outcomes, sometimes ignoring the process or the people.
Yeah, imposing will, demanding compliance, keeping a tight grip on everything, like a puppet master, as you say.
Is that really leading or just managing?
That's the million-dollar question. And if we look at the downsides, especially across cultures or even just in a fast-moving team, control has real limits.
It might give you short-term compliance, maybe?
Maybe, but the cost is often huge. It kills initiative.
Yeah.
People just wait to be told what to do. It erodes trust. People feel managed, not led or valued.
And it definitely stifles creativity, doesn't it? No room to experiment if you're afraid of getting it wrong.
Absolutely none. Imagine that environment. Every idea needs layers of approval. Failure is punished. You won't get breakthroughs there. You'll get quiet compliance.
And across cultures, that control approach can be disastrous. It can seem disrespectful, authoritarian.
Tone deaf, definitely. Leading to disengagement, burnout, people leaving. The evidence points that way. Highly controlled environments aren't productive long term.
So if control is the old way, what about presence? How is it fundamentally different? It's clearly not just, clocking in.
No, it's much deeper. When Lóng Tíng talks about presence, it feels like he means being fully available. Mentally, emotionally. He even hints at spiritually available.
Okay, what does that look like?
Well, it's active. It involves deep listening, really hearing both the said and unsaid, empathy, genuinely trying to understand others' feelings, mindfulness, being fully present in the moment, not distracted.
And that spiritual availability part, how do you interpret that?
I think it means bringing your authentic self, your values, your integrity, your purpose to interactions, leading by being, not just by doing, making people feel seen, heard, valued.
Creating that sense of belonging.
Exactly. And the impact of shifting from control to presence. It's huge. Why is presence better for trust, innovation, psychological safety?
Well, if a leader is truly present, listens, shows empathy, it creates safety, doesn't it? People feel they can speak up, take risks, even make mistakes without being attacked.
Right. And that safety fuels trust. Trust is the foundation. Innovation needs that space where diverse ideas are welcomed, where people feel empowered to try things.
Psychological safety, that belief you won't be punished for speaking up presence, builds that directly.
hmm So you get organic growth, people take ownership, show initiative. They're not just complying. It's like
Mhm.
an inspired expedition versus a forced march.
Let's make it concrete. Imagine two project leaders. Leader A controls everything, dictates tasks, needs constant updates, often overrides you.
Right? Gets things done, maybe, but everyone's stressed and resentful.
Right. Now leader B leads through presence, listens intently, asks good questions, gives thoughtful feedback, empowers the team within clear boundaries, is there for support.
Which leader inspires more loyalty, more creativity, more commitment?
It's leader B, almost always, the one who fosters trust and empowerment. It's that inviting bridge again, the one you want to cross.
Yeah.
And this whole philosophy seems perfectly captured in how Ting describes his book trilogy, Global Leadership Insights 2030.
What does he say about it?
He says its purpose is not to add another management book to the shelf, but to create a living space for vision, for practice, for inner transformation.
A living space. That's interesting wording. Not just information, but something else.
Exactly. It suggests leadership isn't just external skills you learn, but an internal journey you undertake.
A living space implies something dynamic, interactive, evolving, not static text.
Right. A place where ideas aren't just consumed, but are lived, practiced, maybe wrestled with, transformed through application.
Less like a classroom, more like a garden you cultivate. Or a workshop.
Yeah, I like that. A garden, where insights take root and grow, become part of who you are as a leader, not just another concept you filed away.
It's moving from knowing about something to actually experiencing it. Like knowing the recipe versus tasting the dish.
So for you, listening, if you want to grow as a leader, this is an invitation.
An invitation to approach your own development differently.
Yeah, not as just ticking boxes or acquiring facts, but as creating this living space inside yourself for self-discovery, for applying these ideas, presence, bridge building, day by day.
How can you cultivate that internal space for growth? Through reading, reflection, practice, letting ideas breathe and evolve within you.
It reframes learning as this ongoing inner transformation.
And digging even deeper past strategies and internal spaces, Ting grounds leadership in something fundamentally human.
Right. He says it begins in something human, and he makes it so tangible. He talks about the breath we share.
So simple yet profound.
It really is. Breathing, it's universal,
Sure.
cuts across every divide. Culture, status, language, everything.
It's our common life force, isn't it? A primal reminder of our interconnectedness, what unites us beneath the surface.
So when a leader connects with that shared humanity, it creates an instant basis for empathy, for rapport.
It's like saying, okay, before anything else, we're all human sharing this breath. That can be incredibly powerful, especially when things are tense or differences seem huge.
Imagine starting a difficult negotiation just by acknowledging that shared humanity, maybe with a quiet, conscious breath.
It could shift the whole dynamic. From adversaries to fellow humans looking for a way forward, it grounds leadership in shared vulnerability and strength.
And then, building on the breath, he talks about the silence before words.
Which feels countercultural in our noisy, always-on world.
Doesn't it? The pressure is always to speak, to fill the silence immediately.
But Ting suggests that silence isn't empty, it's fertile ground. For a leader, what value does it hold?
Well, reflection, maybe. Pausing before reacting impulsively.
Definitely. Thoughtful consideration. Preventing snap judgments,
Mm.
creating that internal buffer zone, but also, crucially, it creates space for others.
Ah, right. Space for them to speak, to formulate their thoughts without being cut off.
Exactly. It signals respect, shows you're truly waiting to hear them, not just waiting for your turn to talk. It's deep listening starting even before words are spoken. A readiness to receive.
Many wise leaders throughout history were known for using silence effectively, weren't they?
They were. It prevents that premature solutioning, jumping in with an answer before you fully grasp the question or the person.
We've all been there waiting for someone to just take a breath so we can jump in. Which leads to his next point, and this one really struck me. The courage to listen across cultures.
Courage. Not just listening, but courageous listening.
Yeah. We usually think of listening as passive, but calling it courageous, especially across cultures, changes everything. What makes it brave?
Well, it implies overcoming internal barriers, doesn't it? Our own biases, our assumptions, our discomfort with things that feel foreign.
And the vulnerability, maybe, of truly hearing a perspective that might challenge your own core beliefs, being willing to be changed by what you hear.
That's a huge part of it. Dismantling your own mental frameworks to truly make space for another's reality. That takes courage.
So, practically, how does a leader cultivate that? What steps can you take?
It requires conscious effort. First, humility realizing your way isn't the only way, or even the right way, just one way.
Okay.
Second, a willingness to be challenged, actively seeking out different views, inviting respectful disagreement, being open to having your assumptions questioned. It can be uncomfortable, but that's where growth is.
That makes sense.
And third, actively pursuing diverse viewpoints, creating opportunities to talk with people from different backgrounds, disciplines, life experiences, moving beyond tolerance to genuine curiosity.
So instead of assuming everyone gets a deadline the same way in a global team.
You'd courageously ask, what do deadlines mean in your context? What are the unspoken expectations here? You proactively seek understanding.
So for you, the listener, this offers real things to try. Recognizing the shared breath, embracing silence before you respond, listening with that courage, especially when someone's perspective is different.
Could be as simple as taking a centering breath before a tough talk, or consciously letting someone finish their thought, even if you disagree.
Maybe deliberately asking for dissenting views in your next meeting. It's not about being silent, but about being present in a way that opens up real connection.
And this whole approach the journey, the self-discovery, it explains why Lóng Tíng sees himself not as a lecturer, but as a companion in his series.
Ah, that changes the dynamic completely.
It does. A lecturer gives information from above. A companion walks beside you, shares the journey.
So what does that companion-led approach do for the learner, for you listening?
It fosters shared inquiry, I think. Reduces the pressure to already know the answers. Encourages collaborative exploration.
You feel invited into the conversation, not just talked at. You bring your own questions, your experiences.
Exactly. It's less about being shown the path, more about exploring a path together.
Ah.
Mutual respect, shared learning. Like a wise friend sharing insights, not a professor dictating facts. And that's echoed in the question he poses. Together we ask, what does it mean to lead across cultures, across borders, across the fragile lines of our time?
He's not answering it for us.
No, he's inviting us to wrestle with it, together, continuously. It acknowledges there's no single final answer in our complex world. It's an ongoing process.
It really cultivates that mindset of lifelong learning and collective wisdom.
And this spirit of shared journey of collective wisdom extends right into who he invites into this living space.
Yeah, he's very explicit. Here, we open a space for voices from around the world, leaders and learners, changemakers and quiet witnesses, east and west, north and south.
It's not just a token nod to diversity, is it? It feels fundamental to his whole philosophy.
Absolutely. The conviction that wisdom isn't located in one place or one type of person, it's multifaceted.
So why is that broad spectrum so vital for understanding leadership now, in the 21st century?
Well, look at the challenges we face. Global health, climate change, ethical tech, geopolitics. No single culture or perspective has all the answers.
Right. Leadership today isn't about the lone genius at the top. It's about harnessing collective intelligence from everywhere.
Bringing together these diverse groups, leaders, learners, activists, observers, gives you a much richer, more robust understanding, more resilient, maybe.
Definitely more nuanced. It acknowledges that insight comes from the margins as much as the center, from the quiet witness as much as the CEO. It breaks down that old, monolithic view of leadership.
It becomes a mosaic full of different textures and colors. And then he ties it all together with such elegance. Different perspectives carried by the same breath.
Wow. That lands powerfully, doesn't it?
It really does. So simple, yet it pulls that thread of shared humanity right through everything.
It's a beautiful reminder. Despite all the differences in culture, experience, views, there's that fundamental connection. The breath, the anchor.
It emphasizes that while our approaches might vary wildly, the underlying human experience, the potential for connection, is constant.
It's a call to look past the surface differences, find the humanity in every interaction. What a tool for a leader trying to build bridges.
Imagine leading that global team, again, 5 continents, different styles, remembering that shared breath helps dissolve barriers, doesn't it? It reminds you everyone is striving, living just like you.
It can change everything.
So for you listening, this becomes a practical encouragement. Actively seek out and genuinely value diverse perspectives in your work, your community, your family, even the media you consume.
And try to remember that unifying shared breath beneath the differences.
Yeah, approach interactions with that openness, ready to learn, knowing we're connected by something far deeper than what divides us. It makes that leadership from presence feel not just possible, but essential. Hashtag tag tag outro. So as we finish up this particular deep dive into Long Ting's leadership from the breath, specifically the introduction, we've covered some really foundational ground.
We really have. From that core shift away from control towards presence.
Right, towards that state of being truly available and exploring his own role as this intercultural bridge builder, connecting East and West, tradition, and new ideas.
Showing that mental agility needed today.
Yeah. And then digging into those deeply human elements, the shared breath, the power of silence, and that idea of courageous listening across cultures.
These aren't just abstract ideas, are they?
Not at all. They feel like practical frameworks, things you can actually use to navigate your own world, enhance your influence, deepen your own leadership.
Whether you have the official title or not. It's about guiding and inspiring through connection, not imposition.
Leading more authentically, more empathetically, more effectively, ultimately.
Hmm.
So building on those ideas, the silence before words, the courage to listen, we want to leave you with something to maybe mull over, a final thought.
Okay.
In your next important conversation, or before you make a key decision, try consciously inviting a pause. Just a moment.
Take a deliberate breath.
Exactly. Cultivate a moment of silence, not to strategize your next move or to avoid the issue, but to truly be present.
To listen, not just for the words, but for what's underneath. Assumptions, emotions, the unspoken things.
What new understanding might emerge from that simple pause? What connection might deepen? What unexpected leadership potential could you unlock by choosing consciously to lead from that quieter, more reflective, more present space?
Something to reflect on.
Definitely. Think about that until we meet again for our next deep dive.